All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is a Wednesday, and we have a shooting in the news. A lot of shootings on Wednesdays in the news, and there's a reason for that, which we'll get to. But they're blaming this one on a young black man. And it seems as of late, there's been a lot higher percentage of these mass shootings in the news being blamed on people who are black. Historically, the joke was that all the mass shooters were white. But it's very clear to see why this propaganda, which it is, you guys, this is 100% propaganda, is being blamed on a black teenager today. And again, you only have to rewind the tape to 2 days to go over the lesson I just taught you about. Why there were those black rituals this Monday, the 277th day of the year. Again, on Monday, which was the 277th day of the year, just 2 days ago, 277 is the 59th prime, Bubba Wallace became the first NASCAR driver to win a Cup Series race in a span of 59 seasons. And again, 277 is the 59th prime. Today, they're saying the shooter's name is Timothy George Simpkins. I find his surname interesting in light of simp being a popular word with teenagers right now at this moment in history. But Timothy George Simpkins, 277, the 59th prime, the number stamped all over black history. Slave, Negro, Rasta, Blues, they're all 59. Again, Black History Month ends on the 59th day of the year. Motown Records came out in 59. And there's a gazillion more rituals. Again, my first book, Letters and Numbers, has a massive chapter on mass shootings by the numbers that are all federal propaganda, and a massive chapter on racism by the numbers that focuses on the number 59. So the other thing that happened on Monday was, abortion week started at the Supreme Court, and they had the black member of the Supreme Court lead the discussions that day on the 277th day of the year. Last night, I had to look up Thurgood Marshall, the other black member of the Supreme Court, and would you believe that Thurgood Marshall officially became a Supreme Court justice exactly 59 days after his 59th birthday? If you doubt it, look it up. August 30th, 67, 59 days after his 59th birthday. And not to mention, he was first nominated on the day leaving 201 days left in the year, the big Jesuit number, and that's who's behind all these rituals, including today's shooting. So, anyhow, here we are 2 days later and explaining the same pattern I've explained a gazillion times. Now, the other thing about the shooter being black in the news coming today on October 6th, 10/6, notice his surname. When you run the alphabetic order in reverse, Simpkins is 106, just like the word black is, right? 10/6. We just talked about how in the Bubba Wallace ritual, him winning that race was 106 days after the anniversary of the noose being found in his locker, which was a big story for 24 hours before they said it was a mistake the next day. But 106 days after that ritual, Bubba Wallace just did the 277-59 thing. Now we got a 277 shooter on 10/6, right? And we were just talking about how these numbers come together so clearly again and again. And, you only had to wait 2 more days for the latest example. But Simpkins in black, 106. When you use numerology and run the alphabetic order in reverse, Black Lives Matters, 106. Look at what other Jesuit pawns front and center today on 10/6. Schwarzenegger, right? 10/6. Remember, in this same cipher, tapping equals 106. A year ago today, the guy who invented the tapping sound on the guitar died. Eddie Van Halen. Tapping 106, dead on 10/6. The day leaving 86 days left in the year. Guitar 86. Blood sacrifice 86. Human sacrifice 86. But today, 10/6, Black Lives Matter 106. The reason Arnold Schwarzenegger's up here is, again, because he's a top news headline today on 10/6. Again, if you guys are new here, every day, every single day, this is how all your mainstream news headlines are made up. They're programming. Back to your regularly scheduled programming. This is how they create the programming each day. The mind control, the lies, the propaganda. Can't tell you how many videos I've had taken down just like this, especially when covering mass shootings for hate speech. They'll say what I'm doing right now is hate speech, exposing their lies, their programming. But the Black Lives Matter phrase, I can't breathe 106, Black Power 106, a gazillion rituals with these numbers. Last year Obama put out his book on the day leaving 44 days left in the year, number 44, 106 days after his August 4th birthday. Put it out November 17th. By the way, just to make a point. Here, let's go back. Let's go back to the Obama example. His book was called A Promised Land, right? A Promised Land. If you're new here, there's 4 base ciphers. A Promised Land is 59 in what's considered the most pure cipher, the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. 76 with the reverse alphabetic order and rules of numerology. Look at slave, 5976. Look at Negro, 5976. Look at blues, 5976. Rasta, the Million Man March. In 95, the reflection of 59 on the day, leaving 76 days left in the year, October 16th. Look at Barack Obama. I think that was his real name, Barack Obama, 76, right? He's number 44. What happened on 44 and 68? Barack Obama, 68. 4468, Martin Luther King Jr. assassinated. Obama's Secret Service name was Renegade, 59 in the most simple cipher, the alphabetic order. But again, you guys, A Promised Land. The same coding, the same type of rituals. Today it looks like this. A black mass shooter at a high school. And they say he's 18 years old and he's driving a 2018 Dodge Charger. Keep in mind, police drive Dodge Chargers, right? But 18 and 18, that's like IHS, the Jesuit acronym. That's who runs the show here, the Jesuits. IHS 1818. And Dodge Charger equals 95, the reflection of 59, the Jesuits created to counter the 95 theses. Notice the name of the high school, Timberview. In the most pure cipher, it's the exact same as Jesuit order, the exact same as John Carroll, who founded the first Jesuit university when he was 54 years old. Notice Timberview's also got the 126 in it, as well as the 144, both big numbers with the Jesuits. And the planned oil spill of California, which was not an accident, another Jesuit ritual. Again, this is what they do, you guys. They create chaos to push us down the path of agendas, like Agenda 21, which is their agenda, about getting us off fossil fuel. That's why they can't find a leak in the pipeline, because they released the oil. But what did they report? They report that first they reported 126,000 gallons were lost. Then they reported 144,000 gallons were lost. These are Jesuit numbers. But yeah, the only thing really left to say about this is just Wednesday again. Wednesday has the gematria at 37 and 44 like shooting. And it's clockwork. Anytime there's 37 or 44 date numerology on a Wednesday, there is a shooting in the news. And today has 37 date numerology. So, yeah, the only thing I'm sad about is, it's the 10th. It's like literally the 10,000th time I've made a video about this topic. I have 2 big books that both talk about this encoding and how they encode the racist propaganda and all the other propaganda. And it's just, my work's never gotten less attention than it's getting right now at this moment in history. And it's because of all the big tech censorship. And big tech's all controlled by this Jesuit cabal. That's why for years they've been deleting my channel over videos like this. I mean, if you were here in 2017 when I got my first channel deleted, I couldn't keep a channel up for a week. I'd cover the latest shooting, and they'd take down the whole channel, not even give any strikes. They just delete the whole channel and say, you're a severe violation of Google's terms of service, and be like, so what are Google's terms of service? You can't expose lies in the media? I mean, and again, it's because it's all the Jesuit cabal. But, yeah, what do you know? A black shooter on 10-6 with the perfect name in more ways than one. I guess just to extend this stream, we'll get off topic, but last night I couldn't sleep, so I was just grinding out thoughts and put up a lot of posts late last night. Thought this was pretty interesting. Seinfeld. If you weren't alive in the 90s, Seinfeld was the biggest show of the 90s, breaking all the ratings records, the show that everybody watched. I didn't watch it. I hardly watch any TV. I didn't think it was that funny, honestly. But Seinfeld, Jerry Seinfeld, right? The show concluded on May 14th, 98. Go figure. Mark Zuckerberg's birthday, also Israel's birthday. Mark Zuckerberg, Jewish, but a Jesuit plant. I'm sure Jerry Seinfeld is too, because notice, Jerry Seinfeld 201, like the official name of Israel, State of Israel is 201, right? What are the odds that it would end? You know, a Jewish sitcom ends on the day, the 50. If you don't know about Jewish history, they love 50-year anniversaries. That's a big deal with them. They call it a jubilee. So that was the jubilee for the state of Israel that the biggest sitcom of the 90s, which is Jewish, ends on. What a coincidence, right? And again, you guys, Israel is nothing but a creation of the Catholic Church. Notice Catholic, when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, is 145. Like there's 145 more chapters in the Catholic Old Testament than the Jewish Old Testament. 145, May 14th, 14/5. And then Old Testament's Jewish. In the Catholic Old Testament, there's 46 books, like JFK, number 35. Catholic 35, killed at age 46 in a major Jesuit ritual. Again, JFK met with the Pope on July 2nd, 7-2, and died 144 days later, at least reportedly. And you see how Jesuit Order is 54? So is Dealey Plaza, where he was assassinated, right? But, hold on. The Catholic thing. JFK, number 35, killed at 46. Biden, the second Catholic president, number 46. The election 46 weeks after the first Jesuit Pope's birthday, Pope Francis. Then inauguration day on Pope Francis' 35th day of his age. Again, you got to know the ciphers forwards and backwards. The election called for Biden officially after the staged Capitol insurrection on 7/1, January 7th. And don't forget, the Confederate statue fell in D.C. on June 19th, what would become Juneteenth officially 1 year later, 201 days before the Capitol insurrection. The lone Confederate statue in D.C. fell 201 days before the Confederate flag flew in D.C. Again, these are all Jesuit rituals. And that statue fell because of George Perry Floyd, who was from Texas, like today's shooting. And George Perry Floyd was a massive Jesuit ritual, you know, so... Everything about it. Everything about it. Again, if you haven't read my latest book, you can see just how many 201s there were in the George Floyd ritual. There were about a gazillion. And so, anyway, I spotted that last night. I hadn't caught that before. Just as I keep reading my book over, it's really good, but I keep thinking, like, man, I bet I can put even more things in here that would really wake people up. And a thing like this can definitely be slept in, because this will reach a lot of people. There's a lot of people who watch Seinfeld who will understand the coincidence or the unlikely coincidence of this example right here. And I'm on the fence because I didn't put this cipher in. Zenith of the Alpha, who does great work, years ago he brought up that we should start looking at words, how you'd punch them in on a phone, because there could be a lot to that. And I think he's absolutely right. But it's just one more thing to explain to people. But he's pointed out that the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security and the keypad cipher is 201, and they were one of the main sponsors of Event 201, the coronavirus pandemic simulation. Remember, Skull and Bones is the Templar order at Yale. Johns Hopkins was founded by a Skull and Bones member, Daniel Coit Gilman. Of course, in Francis Bacon gematria, Skull and Bones is 201. And 201 is the number of the Jesuits. The Jesuits have the Templar cross in their logo. Skull and Bones is a Templar order. So it all goes together perfectly. Manny Pacquiao's retirement, man, I should have done this one. This is a great example. And it made me realize something even bigger. Look at this, you guys. Manny Pacquiao just retired last week on September 29th, the day leaving 93 days left in the year. And the day leaving 93 days left in the year matters because Saturn is 93, right? Saturn is 93. Now think about this. Saturn worship, which is a real thing, is 201. And right now we're in the time of the first Jesuit Pope, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, the first ever Pope to live in Suite 201 at the Vatican, the Domus Sanctae Marte, which also equals 201. Just like the founder of the Jesuits, Ignatius of Loyola, his name equals 201. But Pope Francis, he has the same birthday as Manny Pacquiao, and it's December 17th, which is the first day of Saturnalia, the day to celebrate Saturn. So Saturn worship is 201. If you've been here since the beginning, when I first started, I had a super focus on Saturn because I really started with 9/11, and 93 so big to 9/11, and I learned how important 93 was to Saturn and Thelema and Aleister Crowley. But now I'm starting to really see how it all comes together. And Saturn, a lot of people contend that the real god of the Old Testament is Saturn, which makes a lot of sense. There's 929 chapters in the Old Testament. Think about how September 29th leaves 93 days left in the year, how the Bible, the language, the calendar, it's all encoded. But Jewish mysticism is also 201, right? Jewish mysticism's paid tribute to throughout the Bible. That's where this whole code of letters and numbers comes from. Gematria, which comes from Kabbalah, which is Jewish mysticism. Jewish mysticism is 201 and 93. Remember, the Order of Illuminati was founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt. That's another 201 and 93, right? So you got Manny Pacquiao. See if I can spell his name right. Again, Manny Pacquiao, 201, retires on the day leaving 93 days left in the year, who happens to have a Saturnalia birthday, the same as Pope Francis, and then he retires at age 42. He's born December 17th, 78. Pope Francis is December 17th, 36. They're 42 years apart. But look at Saturn again. Saturn, 93. He retires on the day leaving 93 days left in the year, right? 21 in the most pure cipher, which is actually the value that makes the most sense for Saturn, because 21 is the sixth triangular number, and Saturn is the sixth planet from the sun. Saturn's also associated with Satan to the occult, and you think about 666, the number of the beast, the sixth planet. But Saturn, also 42 in the base ciphers, right? So day leaving 93 days left in the year 2021, at age 42. And, over the years, we brought up big 93 rituals on September 29th many times. But it's just now we're really starting to understand how all of this comes together so perfectly. Saturn is the keeper of time to the occult. This is a ritual in time. Saturn is 93, like they say the sun is 93 million miles away, the other object used to keep time, which the Catholic calendar is based on, and of course the Catholics worship on Sunday. Also, this year, September 29, 2021, had 79 date numerology. Society of Jesus is 79, right? He fought in 72 fights in his career, Jesuit order 72. The Jesuits created on a date with 72 numerology. But yeah, isn't that interesting? Also, I was just on a 201 hunt last night. The Pulitzer Prize equals 201 in the most simple cipher. Also 84 and 69. The Jesuit order is 69, 84, 201. But the thing about it, each year, 102 jurors are selected to the Pulitzer Prize board to serve the 20 separate juries. 102, 201. Remember, Event 201, the coronavirus pandemic simulation. The next thing you know, the first international pandemic in 102 years. The last one coming out of World War I was Spanish flu, when World War is 102, right? And the Jesuits instigated these wars by the numbers. So, and notice the 21 award categories, right? 201, 102, 21, the digits 2 and 1, Jesuit 21. So hold on. Let me do it like this. I did too many posts, so I got to scroll down the page a ways. Hold on. I did some more posts last night. I just want to show you what in the world is going on. All right, here we go. I got to do a little scrolling. Don't get dizzy. Oh, yeah. Here's one. I've talked about the Metallica death of the bassist Cliff Burton on the Jesuit birthday many times before, but something that I've been overlooking all this time. Just prior to that death, Metallica went on tour with Ozzy Osbourne, and the tour was called the Ultimate Sin Tour, right? And it began on June 13th, the day leaving 201 days left in the year. Ozzy Osbourne is 201. It's not his birth name, but his musician name. Remember, he did the song about Aleister Crowley, Mr. Crowley, what have you done? Mr. Crowley, who was all into this letters and numbers thing. But notice, when you write out June 13th, it's the day leaving 201 days left in the year. But notice, it's 177, 69, 201. So Ozzy Osbourne goes on tour with Metallica. Shortly after that, Metallica's bassist, Cliff Burton, dies on the day the Jesuits were recognized by Rome. And if you've ever read the story of how he died, it doesn't make any sense. They were all in the same crash together. But somehow they were unscathed, but he dies in the same vehicle. I mean, I guess there's a situation where it could happen, but again, more like ritual sacrifice, because we know that's what really goes on in the entertainment industry. And his full name, Clifford Lee Burton. Here, I'll just put it up right here. Clifford Lee Burton. Whoops, here, I'll just write it out. Clifford Lee Burton. 86 in the most pure cipher, like blood sacrifice, like human sacrifice, dies in 86, 185 like Catholicism and mathematics, 274 like Jesus Hominum Salvator, the Jesuit motto, 94 like Roman Catholic Church. He's the one that ends up dead on that day. You know what I mean? And the other note about this is he died 67 days before Ozzy Osbourne's birthday, who just toured with them, right? And this is like last year. Last year on this day, Eddie Van Halen died while his brother was 67. Blood sacrifice is 6786. So is human sacrifice. A year ago today, we were talking about Van Halen's death while his brother's 67. You see? In the year 86, he died 67 days from Ozzy Osbourne's 38th birthday of all ages. Death 38, murder 38, killing 38, RIP 38, and so on. And don't forget, with regards to Van Halen dying last year, he was known for being a guitar player. Today leaves 86 days left in the year, guitar 86, right? Again, tapping sound, tapping 106, dead on 10/6. Every time I'm explaining this stuff, I'm just like, how doesn't the whole world know about this? I mean, Van Halen has like a gazillion fans. You know, like why doesn't the whole Van Halen community know about gematria? These sports teams have a gazillion fans. We're showing how rigged the games are year after year. Why doesn't every sports fan know about gematria? It's like, how's this even possible in the information age? There's never been a more complete thing exposed in the world than this knowledge and what's being done with it. You know? But hold on. I dug up a lot more than that last night. All right, so I just went back and looked at June 13th in history, the day leaving 201 days left in the year. And right away I was like, look at this, man. Historic meeting between North and South Korean leaders. You know, the first of its kind after the Korean War, which started in the 50s. So this was a huge event when it happened. And think about it. There's this new hit show called Squid Game where there's a mass execution of people and then there's only 201 left, which they put up on the screen. And then if you watch the show, it goes from 201 to 187. The official name of the Jesuits is the Society of Jesus. 187. And then what happens after the 187 contestants? 79 more are murdered. So then you get 79 less. The main character's name is 56 in the most pure cipher. In Jewish gematria, his name equals 456, like how he's player 456 in the game. But again, so Korea, right? I'm getting confused because I got too many slides open. Korea, and this huge thing on the day leaving 201 days left in the year. You know, now all these years later, this show that pays tribute to that same number, again, it's because the Jesuits are the world order. And like I've been saying, they control the Koreas absolutely. It's obvious as everything when you see that every time one of these Korean missile launches is the latest Jesuit ritual. I mean, just think about how many times they've given you stupid stories like this over the last 20 years about Korea launching a missile, being part of the axis of evil. All of this stuff is a joke, a Jesuit joke. You know, they're games to play with a populace of ignorant fools, just like in the show Squid Game. And here, look at some of the other headlines on this day. Michael Jackson, who went out by the numbers. On June 13th in history, he was acquitted of child molestation charges. And I'm not going to get into the whole, did Michael Jackson really do it or not, because I don't know. But I'm sure that Michael Jackson was molested as a child. It's no doubt he was abused. Why would Michael Jackson do all the things that he did to himself? I mean, he was a good-looking man. Why would he mutilate himself? Again, you guys, this world is celebrity. It's evil. These people are puppets on strings. Horrible things are done to them. When horrible things are done to children, oftentimes the children will grow up to do horrible things to other children. That's the cycle of this world. Look up the Ignatius of Loyola quote about give me a child until he's 7 and I'll show you the man, meaning by the time everything's done to him by the time he's 7, he knows exactly what he'll grow up to be as a man. And that's understood through psychology, and I've made that point so many times. That's why they target us as children with the religion, the school, the bullshit, and they program our minds early. But Michael Jackson was acquitted in this huge case on the day leaving 201 days left in the year. Go figure. You know, look at what they just did with R. Kelly on September 27th. the day the Jesuits were recognized by Rome, while he's 54 years old. In Saudi Arabia, which some people call the 51st state, Israel also gets that nickname. Remember, 9/11 had a lot to do with Israel and Saudi Arabia, but in 1982, on that day, big death of the leader of Saudi Arabia. Wonder what happened there. 82, Loyola 82. 1971, the Jesuit-controlled New York Times began publishing the Pentagon Papers. Oh, go figure. Military papers, huh? The Jesuits, a military order. Washington, D.C., controlled by the Jesuits. In 1971 as well, right? Catholic 71. Thurgood Marshall, the first token black guy on the Supreme Court. Nominated on the day leaving 201 days left in the year, the completely Jesuit Supreme Court. The new token black guy, he went to Holy Cross, the Jesuit school. I'm not sure where Thurgood Marshall went to school. Let's see. Thurgood Marshall education. I know the guy who played him in a movie just died in a major Jesuit ritual on Jackie Robinson Day, and of course Jackie Robinson was a big Jesuit product. But let's see. He went to Howard. Okay, he went to Howard. Oh, no wonder. Howard University. 201, right? So what do you know? The Howard product, and we know all sorts of bad stuff's going on at Howard. All the black people that think you want to go to Howard because it's a black school, you better stay out of that school. What that school is a Jesuit-run school that uses black people for their nefarious agendas. So here's Howard University product, Thurgood Marshall, nominated on the day leaving 201 days left in the year. And let's not overlook the 93 either, right? How's that worked out for black history? Malcolm X, 93, not his birth name, assassinated at age 39. How about Martin Luther King Jr., another 93, assassinated at age 39. 39 books in the Old Testament. What's left of the Bible, the way it's given to us, you can only conclude that the Jews were black, the Hebrews of the Bible. Where else did Thurgood Marshall go to school? Frederick Douglass High School. Might have to look more into that. But yeah, I see it right away with Howard University. Isn't it funny? I mean, this stuff only takes 2 seconds to see through when you know the code and you know the repetitive patterns. We've talked about Howard and 201 too many times. The U.S. Supreme Court also ruled in front of Ernesto Miranda for your Miranda rights in Arizona. Arizona's the same as Jesuit. What else did I write about this? Oh, yeah. Okay. So it happened in Arizona, the Miranda rights thing. Arizona, 84-42, just like Jesuit, right? And what is it? Miranda rights. Miranda rights are 69 and 84. Look at the Jesuit order. 69 and 84 and 201 in the decision on the day leaving 201 days left in the year. And what are your Miranda rights? You have the right to remain silent. Better yet, put a slave muzzle on. Because we simulated the pandemic that's so real with Event 201. You know what I mean? The Olsen twins, to me, this was always a great mystery to me, the Olsen twins. First of all, Full House was this, when I was a kid growing up, everybody watched Full House. This is before Seinfeld. Then Seinfeld was the next big show everybody was watching as I was growing up. But I wasn't watching any of these shows. And anytime I turned them on, I was like, I got better things to do. Why do you guys want to spend your time with this shit? And then when I was growing up as a teenager, I was like, man, the Olsen twins are so fine. And I was like, they are? It's like, what? It's like, they're not. I didn't think they were attractive at all. But all the guys around me just thought the Olsen twins were so hot. I mean, look at them. Are they hot? It's mind control, you guys. The show sucks. The girls aren't hot. Not that should matter, ladies. I'm not saying it's about that, but I was just like, what's wrong with everybody? Can't they see these girls aren't cute and this show sucks? Oh, my God. And then it's funny to think that, what's his name? Bob Faggot, is that his name? Or is it Saget? I can't remember which one it is. But that guy is a creep. And then, he's the fatherly dad in that show. The other show that everyone liked, Tim Allen Tool Time. I was like, look at this, man. The show in the 90s that everybody watched, Full House and Tool Time. And I didn't like either of these shows. It's like, let's go outside and play some more ball. But Tim Allen, also born, they're all born on June 13th. The Olsen twins are twins, right? Born on June 13th. And Tim Allen's born on June 13th. I'm like, wow, these are the 90s shows that every kid was watching. Full House and Tool Time. And the stars are both born on the day, leaving 201 days left in the year. Home Improvement even equals Society of Jesus. Go figure. We've talked about what a Jesuit front the United Nations is. Here's a Korean that was the head of the United Nations. Again, Squid Game in 201. Ban Ki-moon's born June 13th, the day leaving 201 days left in the year. Go figure. Might need to really go through the history of Korea. I'm guessing there's about a gazillion more 201s that haven't been uncovered yet. But, yeah, I thought this was interesting. This webpage also had deaths on this day besides birthdays, and there were a lot that were interesting, but I noticed this one happened in 1984 on the day leaving 201 days left in the year. Again, the Jesuit order is 20184, and this is in the early days of HIV/AIDS, and he was a musician who died prematurely at age 39, supposedly from complications due to HIV/AIDS. And remember, Anthony Fauci, the same guy behind the HIV/AIDS agenda, that's now the same guy behind the coronavirus agenda. And if you've seen what Carrie Mullis had to say about Anthony Fauci's fraud with HIV/AIDS, who died right before the whole coronavirus pandemic, again, what he's describing with what Anthony Fauci did with HIV/AIDS, it seems like exactly what's going on with COVID. Taking illnesses that already exist and then making them scarier and putting a new label on it and marketing it and scaring people with it and generating money. It all sounds very similar, but this musician who's big in Portugal, he died at 39 supposedly from this in what looks like a big Jesuit ritual. Not to mention Anthony Fauci took over NIH in 1984. So this is the Jesuits, this is the New World Order. This is a big musician in Portugal. I mean, honestly, I never heard of him before, but I feel like this is a case to look more into. So, that was some of last night's late night research. Sometimes you can't sleep and it's a good thing because you just start finding all sorts of gems. There is something about the time of day and the way the mind works, and it's like, I feel like over the years, sometimes like the most important stuff I found has been the nights where I can't sleep and it's just the middle of the night. Okay, so July 20th is the 201st day of the year. June 13th leaves 201 days left in the year. We were just looking at June 13th stuff, now just July 20th stuff. We already know about the moon landing. Neil Alden Armstrong, 201, 201st day of the year. The Twilight Zone 201, and the first episode about him. The first pilot episode of the Twilight Zone is about a manned moon mission. Go figure. Helen Thomas, you remember her? I forgot about Helen Thomas. She was a big thing in journalism history, women's rights. She died on the 201st day of the year. And the thing about Helen Thomas is this right here. Let me write out it's already up there. The Jesuit Order 177-201. Look at Helen Thomas. 177, right? 177. Her name's also 120 and 48. It's also 51 as well. The Illuminati was created May 1st, 5-1 by Adam Weishaupt, who equals 51. But notice Illuminati 12048. You know that any of these people that have been the press for our presidents and in the federal government, these people are evil. That's all that's in D.C. is evil. If there was a good person there, they'd be exposing the evil that goes on every day there instead of helping us all pick sides and go along with the agenda. So, forget what I told you about Helen Thomas in school. Anyone in this gang, not good. How about this one? 1976, the Viking one-lander touched down on Mars. Oh, wow, Mars. Remember, sometimes we got to break out the Jewish gematria cipher. Mars is the Roman god of war. Mars is 201. Roman is 201 in Jewish gematria. Remember, that's your most important cipher outside of the base ciphers. So on the 201st day of the year, science makes history touching down on Mars, I'm sure. This one got me, man. This one last night when I saw this, I said, you got to be kidding me. 1968, right? The year of years at Soldier Field. A lot of rig football games going down at Soldier Field. At Chicago's Soldier Field, the first Special Olympics began, and some 1,000 athletes, all of whom had intellectual disabilities, participated. See, this seems nice, right? If you read about it, it was about showing that people who had stereotypes against them and who other people believed were incapable were actually very capable. I mean, all that's nice. And as someone who's worked with special needs a lot, I don't have anything against special needs people, so don't read into what I'm saying the wrong way. But look at this, you guys. Look at Special Olympics. 177, 69, 84, right? Let me write out the Jesuit order. The Jesuit order. 177, 69, 84, also 201, and this first celebration was on the 201st day of the year. Now, have I been making a very specific point about how they purposefully retard us, and a lot of these agendas went into motion in 68? Yes, I have, about a gazillion times. So, do you think it's a coincidence that the first celebration of capable retards, and I don't mean to say that in a mean, I know people don't like that word, but the word is also what it is. Capable stunted people. Do you think the first celebration of capable stunted people in 68 on the 201st day of the year was an accident? You guys, they are making us retarded. It is by design. You know, I'm not the first person in the world to shed light on that, but it's so obvious. The food, the information, the school system just everything. Your parents that lie to you because your parents grew up in this and they were lied to and they're repeating the same lies to you. I mean, come on, man. Come on. And then how about this? In 1944, German military leaders attempted to assassinate Adolf Hitler in the July plot. Remember, Adolf Hitler supposedly committed suicide at age 56, but his body was never found. Adolf Hitler, 56, 187, just like Society of Jesus, 56, 187. And look at it one more time, and the most simple cipher, 110, like his birthday is the 110th day of the year. So, and again, you know, the Nazi colors, red and black, the Jesuit colors. Where did all the money come from for Germany to build up the military, to take on Europe? Doesn't make any sense. How could they have had any money or resources? They were paying reparations for World War I that they were blamed for. And if you don't know the history of World War I, you had France and England carving up Africa and taking all of its resources. And then Germany said, well, wait a minute, we want a piece of the action. So Germany went down there. And then next thing you knew, World War I is breaking out. You know what I mean? That's the short story of it. You had the Franz Ferdinand assassination ritual, which was all Jesuits. But, yeah, you know. Every day, the Jesuit scumbags, they got another ritual up their sleeves for us. And somebody left in the comments just on Monday, they said, I wonder what they're going to do on Wednesday, 10-6, with that being the big Black History number. Well, I don't know why my website is struggling today. I don't know why. Every time I refresh the screen, it refreshes, but then it just stays right where it is. Again, in case you got here late, just one more time. If you missed Monday's videos about Bubba Wallace and Clarence Thomas, go back and check those out. By the way, today's the day in history that Clarence Thomas was accused of a sexual assault. You know, more black shaming. But today we have a black teenage shooter, supposedly at a high school in Texas, whose name is Simpkins, 106 like black on 10-6. Black Lives Matter 106. Arnold Schwarzenegger's in the decode because he's in the news today on 10-6. Just to make the point about how all the news is encoded. Again, 106, big number with black history. The 16th Street Baptist Church bombing, big 106 ritual. The Dillon storm roof mass shooting of a black church, big 106 ritual where they even had fire truck 106 park outside the whole time. And then the shooter today, Timothy George Simpkins, 277, the 59th prime, just like how 2 days ago was the 277th day of the year, full of 59 rituals, including Bubba Wallace, backed by Michael Jordan, Mr. 59, becoming the first NASCAR driver to win the first black NASCAR driver to win the Sprint Cup Series in a span of 59 years. On the 277th day, the 59th prime. Slave Negro Rasta Blues, 59. So, and again, the name of the school has those big Jesuit number encodings. And then they say he drove a Dodge Charger like so many police officers do. And remember, that's who's responsible for most of these mass shootings. Rewind the tape, CNN. It must be somewhere on the internet. You know, I used to have it up on videos until my channel was deleted 1,000 times. But CNN years ago gave us the news story of how police are actively going into malls, theaters, public schools, public spaces with crisis actors and performing with blanks what looks like shootings and arrests and fake casualties to add to the realism for how to stop a mass shooter scene. I mean, it was just unbelievable when they did that presentation. It was right after back-to-back shootings in Colorado. One was a Planned Parenthood shooting, and I forget what the other one was, but right after those stories happened in the news, then CNN did the special on how police are preparing for these situations by just going into schools, theaters, all these places unannounced, and carrying out a scene that looks like a real shooting. It's like, okay, are they not telling you exactly what they're doing with these news stories? They're just reporting these things as real tragedies. It's not to say that real shootings don't happen. It is to say that the stuff that's in the news is contrived by a code every single time. That's why we prove it every single time. I mean, who's going to sit there and say that, oh, I think this is all a coincidence after what I just showed you on Monday? You know? And not to mention I've shown the same thing a million times before this. And I'll also remind you, why did Amazon remake the show Utopia in the time of the pandemic about billionaires wanting to depopulate the world with a virus and a vaccine, and then it even has other little details in the story about how these billionaires are raising children to be school shooters and propaganda and news stories, essentially useful cattle that they can just use and then even murder themselves once the news story's done its damage? It's like, what kind of show is this to remake right now? Amazon, Jesuit Corporation, run by Jesuit pawn Jeff Bezos. I didn't want to look at Mark Zuckerberg today. Just another Jesuit pawn. I mean, all these guys, all this stuff in the news, you guys, every day, that's what it is. It's Jesuit theater. This is the cabal that needs to be taken down in the worst way. And I'm just not sure that humanity has any cojones left after all the estrogen in the water and all the mind control. It's too damn bad, man. It's too damn bad that this gang gets away with this bullshit every day. And I mean, just the fact that Arnold Schwarzenegger's even talking again today, and the fact that Arnold Schwarzenegger was even the governor of a state, let alone California, one of the biggest states in the world, bigger than most of the nations of the world. I mean, a guy that's a functioning retard, truly. I mean, have you ever seen an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie? Find a line where Arnold said more than 5 words in a row. You know what I mean? This guy was your governor. Well, why do you think his lines were so short in the movie? Because he's dumb. Because he can't remember his lines. He's just out there to look big and strong and be the action hero, right? A big dummy. So, anyway, we'll leave it there for now, you guys. Till next time.